It's time for another editorial.
Because I'm so tired, guys. I'm just so tired.
Warning. The following podcast contains adult languages and mature subject matter intended for adult audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
This is Rancid Readings episode 21 on November 27th, 2017. And we're just gonna chill.
We're just
gonna chill.
Take a break for a bit.
We're just, well not like we're gonna take a break from our crappy reading.
Yeah.
To talk about books that we actually enjoy.
Something to cleanse the palate after Antigua.
I don't think we're gonna finish Antigua. It sucks.
I don't want to finish Antigua.
I'm willing to bet it's just a normal generic fantasy romp. So we don't have to bother. We can move on after this editorial to other things.
Yeah, you guys understand how bad it is. Nothing interesting is gonna happen.
If you really want it, I'm sure you can find it. I don't recommend that.
No.
But it's out there. So, books that we like. Do we talk about, like, childhood books or books that you just read over and over again? Because I've read a lot of books.
I mean, we spend a lot of time talking about, like, shitty books, right? Well, I mean, I guess... Well, personally, my favorite book ever is The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice.
Yeah.
Sequel to Interview with the Vampire. And that's a really good, well-written book.
About vampires.
Yeah. Sad men that live forever. It's everything I've ever wanted to be. And it's just this long, meandering, philosophical examination of human condition and immortality and being really pretty and really sad. And that's the whole book.
Yeah.
And it's great.
They never made a movie of The Vampire Lestat, did they? They made a musical that was a piece of crap.
No, they did make a movie, like in the 80s, I think.
Oh dear.
And it was garbage.
Oh.
But the beginning of the movie Queen of the Damned
is
the beginning of the book The Vampire Lestat.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
I have not seen Queen of the Damned because I know better.
I have also not seen Queen of the Damned. My understanding is that Queen of the Damned starts with Lestat as like a rock star.
Yes.
Which, actually, now that I think about it, is the beginning of the book Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a while since I last read the trilogy, but I have a nice big anthology of it on my bookshelf, and I love it, and it makes me feel good.
What other books do you like?
I really like anything Neil Gaiman's written.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I picked up a copy of The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and that book kind of changed my perspective on reading.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, I read that before I ever read any H.P. Lovecraft, and, now I've read a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, because I also adore him, but Neil Gaiman has this way of describing things as indescribable without saying, and it was so weird you couldn't understand it. And I would love to open up that book and read a passage about that, but I lent that to someone and they just never gave it back.
No.
And every time I see them, I guilt them. And they're like, I know, I'm sorry. That was 5 years ago.
And everyone has a friend like that.
Everyone has a friend like that. Everyone's been a friend like
Everyone
that.
has been like that. Because we were the holder of certain sets of DVDs. So.
Oh, God, yeah. But, like, yeah, Neil Gaiman is my next favorite author, like by a very narrow margin. If only because I consider Neil Gaiman's best work to be Sandman, which I don't consider my favorite book because it's a graphic novel.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about favorite reading media, any like readable media, Sandman is the best thing since sliced bread.
I think maybe if we have time at the end, we can go over like graphic novels which is like that just complicates like my list way more.
Yeah.
because
Art Spiegelman shows up on it, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course, like 5 times.
Yeah.
I went to school, and in my last years of my English degree, for each class, I had to read about 5 or 6 books, and they're big ones.
Oh God.
So I've read like a lot of what's considered like the greatest books of all time, like Ulysses.
No.
I still don't understand Ulysses. I don't think anyone will understand Ulysses.
James Joyce, you weird son of a bitch.
James Joyce, you had a lot of issues, didn't you?
Was he the one who wrote the really raunchy love letters to it? Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Aren't some of them on like the tables at the bar we frequent?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's another like fun piece of trivia. Like I like James Joyce even though all I've read was Ulysses. For a class, mind you, because we frequent a bar that is like James Joyce themed.
Yeah, it's called Peacock Billiards, but they had an attached restaurant for a bit called the James Joyce Bistro. And so all of the decor in like the bar restaurant half of this pool hall, it's James Joyce. So like there's paintings and pictures of James Joyce all over the wall, and all the tables have passages from James Joyce's writings just like
painted
on them. Like the whole table is just James Joyce's work, which is really confusing because some of them are round, so you like read it in a spiral going in. And if you thought James Joyce was hard to read initially, try reading it drunk in a spiral in a loud bar
with food on the table.
Yeah, because that's my whole experience with James Joyce is trying to read the tables at the bar.
Yeah, so like I like Ulysses, but like in terms of books that are like personal to me because like I'm a really sentimental person. It's a toss up between 2 books that are my favorite. One being Across the Nightingale Floor by Leanne Hearn.
Oh, that was a good book.
And it's just like a really well written semi-historical, semi-fantasy drama, like ancient fictional Japan. Some kid is in like a little village and gets adopted after it's destroyed, and it's just he's a ninja and he is also like the prince of this nation now, and there's like a tryst going on with his there's a lot that goes on in it. It's just written in a way that I really enjoy, especially like the action scenes, and it flips between the main character Takeo and like his semi love interest whose name I don't remember right now. Oh, goodness. I think it's Kaede.
I think that's exactly what it is.
It was either Kaede or Sadako.
No,
and
I think it's Kaede. It's been a while since I read that book.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've read it, too. Because I read it so much when I was in high school. I read it like once a year, every year, until I hit university, and I did not have time to read on my own volition.
That series got like huge.
Yeah, there was 3 in the original trilogy, and then they made like a sequel that I hated, and then they made a prequel that I've never read.
Yeah, I remember that you read this like that sequel one, and you're just like, I'm never reading this again. Because we had another friend who was like super into it, and he was like, oh yeah, they made a sequel, and then you read it, you're like, no.
And I was really excited, and it starts out okay, but then like it gets a touch fanficky. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a creation of the original author type of deal. No. I don't know. But my other favorite book is Watership Down by Richard Adams, which is that one book about rabbits.
I've never actually read that one, unfortunately. I know I should.
Like, there's a lot of books which are just, like, talking animal society books. Like, one of the big ones is The Warriors, which is about cats.
Redwall.
Redwall, which I think is slightly different in my opinion, but also the same.
Yeah.
Because the Redwall characters use like tools, like they have like little mouse
they're
swords and clothes and
somewhat
stuff.
anthropomorphic.
Yeah, well, anything that's given a human characteristic is anthropomorphic.
Fine, be that way.
But like, Guardians of Ga'Hoole is another really big one, which I've never.
Owls.
Yeah, Owl. I've never read Warriors or Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
I've heard they're good books, but they were a terrible movie.
Yes, they are.
Even if the CG in that movie was spectacular.
Just watch all the fight scenes in that movie, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I read a few more. There's The Sight, which is about deer, and then.
I remember you telling me about that one.
Oh wait, what's The Sight? There was one called like The Sight, and then there's one called like The something else, and there's one is about deer and one is about wolves. They're okay. I've read one about griffins. I've read one about bats, which is like the Sunwing series. That's also really good. So
that's very popular.
Yeah. I think I didn't get into Ga'Hoole because it's marked for like an age generation that's a lot younger than I'm used to. Like Silverwing and Watership Down was clearly made with like slightly older children, maybe like 12 to 15, where Ga'Hoole feels more like it's for like a 10-year-old. So I've just never read it. I may be incorrect about later entries of Ga'Hoole.
Plus, it started coming out like after
it was
we were
semi-recent.
Yeah, we were out of that demographic when it came
well,
out.
I've definitely read books that were way out of my demographic age-wise.
Oh.
Any more books that you want to have a, an influence on you?
I've always fancied myself as someone who would like read more of the classics, but I always find them so boring.
Yeah.
I got bored of The Count of Monte Cristo about 3/4 of the way through. I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein 3 times, like 4/5 of the way through every time, and then I just get bored. It gets to the part where, Frankenstein goes home to like see his family again, and he's like, fuck this, I have done horrible things and I need to just like go home and chill. And he goes home and it's this fucking like servant child gets murdered by the monster, and at that point I'm like, I just
don't care.
care.
Yeah. I had a lot of that while I was in university.
Yeah.
Like, I read a lot of the classics, but I was like, fuck these people.
Yeah. Like, I have Crime and Punishment on my shelf, and I got halfway through that before I realized, like, I get what this book is going for, where, like, good people do bad things. Does that make them bad people? But the main character of fucking Crime and Punishment is just a douche. He is a lazy, useless douche, and he is just a bad person.
Yeah.
Like, that's spoiler alert. Crime and Punishment, the philosophical quandary is moot because he's just an asshole. He's fucking bourgeoisie philosopher. Ugh.
Yeah.
And I have War and Peace, and I got like 2 chapters into that before I realized I cannot keep any of these characters straight because they introduce them and then refer to them by name.
And they're all complicated.
There are so many complicated Russian names. And I don't have time to like identify with any of these characters or like them because like I don't remember who the fuck they are 2 pages later.
Yeah. I think we should watch like maybe an adaptation of War and Peace. Yeah. Well, I tried to read Les Miserables multiple times.
Oh,
For one, Les Miserables is fucking huge. And second of all, it kind of has that same problem where every single character is introduced, they have a complicated French name, and then they leave and then come back way later. But like,
yeah, because like I've watched a bunch of adaptations of Les Mis, and
well, at least now, see, it got a little easier for me to read after watching some Les Mis because I'm like, oh,
that's Hugh Jackman. Yeah, that's Russell Crowe.
Oh, that's Uma Thurman or whatever.
No, it wasn't Uma Thurman.
There was another adaptation that was a non-musical that had Uma Thurman as Fantine, and I think Jeffrey Rush as Javert, and he was very good.
Better than Russell Crowe?
Anyone is better than Russell Crowe.
I'm Javert.
7641. Come to jail. If you don't know what we're talking about, look up the Les Miserables movie that Tom Hooper directed like 2 years ago. It's fantastic.
It won a lot of Oscars.
It sure did.
It won every Oscar. Oscar bait the musical.
Yeah. which is funny because they didn't get the Oscar for original song, but they tried so hard. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of classics I've read. It's particularly Shakespeare. Like, I took 2 Shakespeare classes in one semester, and one was like romance and comedy, and the other one was tragedy. And God bless the teacher. I know you're not listening, Richard, but I remember you. He tried so hard to make the tragedies interesting, and they are legitimately interesting, but lots of people die. Yeah, lots of people die, and it's usually their own fault. Usually they're a dick. Like, I hate Hamlet. Hamlet's like the big famous one, and I fucking hate I hate Hamlet the character.
I've actually never read Hamlet.
You watch The Lion King?
Yeah.
It's that.
Oh.
Except Hamlet / Simba doesn't come back and is a good person. Hamlet's just a dick.
Oh.
And dies.
Well, shit.
Yeah. But
I like The Lion King better.
I don't think we looked at Romeo and Juliet, but we looked at like King Richard and Othello.
See, I really like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate Romeo and Juliet.
I think everyone likes Romeo and Juliet.
Like, I thought I would be the last person to like Romeo and Juliet, but like I'm like such a closet fan of it.
I like the comedies, honestly, like Midsummer's Night Dream, Taming of the Shrew, Merchant of Venice, even though there's like super racist Jew characters in it.
Great. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, As You Like It is probably my favorite one. And then when I say like, oh, my favorite Shakespeare play is As You Like It, people are like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because all they were taught were Hamlet and Othello and
Macbeth.
Romeo and Juliet and Macbeth. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Macbeth either.
Yeah, Macbeth kind of sucks.
Not as much as Hamlet. I hate Hamlet. So yeah, I read like all of those. There's some classics I've read, and like after reading them, I felt very indifferent. I've actually read Carmen's Heart of Darkness for a class, and I had before, but I read it again, and I was like, that is a book.
I really liked Heart of Darkness, actually. I read it only recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read Heart of Darkness, and I really liked that book. And reading it made me realize how Western society can't get over Heart of Darkness.
Yeah.
Because I had never been told, never realized, never read anywhere that Apocalypse Now was just Heart of Darkness. And I got to the end of Heart of Darkness, and I was just like, I just read Apocalypse Now. And then I went back and I replayed the original Dark Souls, and I realized I just played Heart of Darkness.
Far Cry 3, I think, is also Heart of Darkness. And, no, yeah. It's either Far Cry 2 or 3. One of those two is Heart of Darkness.
I never played 2. I only played 3 a little. 3 is the one where all your friends get kidnapped and you have to find them.
I think it might be that one then. Because 4 is the one that takes place in
Nepal.
Nepal.
And there's the crazy guy who's actually on your side the whole time.
Yeah. So one of those is Heart of Darkness.
Oh. Okay.
But I don't know if I'm just indifferent about Heart of Darkness because I love Apocalypse Now. And
Apocalypse Now was probably like the best adaptation of it too, because it's like it's 1-to-1 like translated.
Except the Vietnam War thing.
Well, I mean, it's
that's it.
As opposed to the colonization of the Congo.
Exactly. So, I read Moby Dick. That was fun because I just finished playing Metal Gear Solid 5, which is Moby Dick.
Yep.
And I read Moby Dick a couple times when I was like a kid. And I really enjoyed it. Like I have an attachment to the identity and name of Ishmael, which may be Ahab. But like I've read Robinson Crusoe and Treasure Island, and I was like, these are boring. I know they're classics, but I hate them.
Yeah, the only version of Treasure Island I can actually sit through and like stomach is Muppet Treasure Island. I mean, they put Tim Curry as Long John Silver. Like, what else do you want? If you want to make something palatable for me, dear listener, put Tim Curry in it. Just anywhere. Clue, Tim Curry, done.
Yeah, but Clue's great.
Clue's a good movie. That's off topic.
If we're gonna stretch out into stuff that's like not books now, there's a famous play called Waiting for Godot, which is probably one of, like, I'm not into plays, but I really like this one. If only because when I was taking that lit class where I had to study it, I was like, hey, this is